Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of Phemex Traders Arena Captain Interviews. Today, I talked to Daniel from Team Chart Champions, who came in number 3 overall. In this interview, we did something a little different, and instead of seeing both of us face to face, Daniel provided us with a screen share so that we could watch visually as he shows us his strategies. So, without further ado, you don't want to listen to me, you want to listen to him. Let's get started. Just keep doing what you're doing, which is what we're talking about today, right?
Yeah, I think we're going to show a little bit about like a little way that we use on our trading strategies and like what we were doing in the competition. I think it should be pretty interesting for people to see.
Yeah, definitely. This will be good for everybody. After all, a third place team, you got some good strategies over there. So
Yeah,
we'll be listening to you today and see what you did.
yeah, man. I think like the first thing is like that's really important. Obviously, when you start trading is um like my style of trading and naturally a lot of the people in chart champions as well, their style of trading is like we really actually love to trade sideways ranges. And I know a
Mhm.
lot of people are like a lot of people love to trade like really impulsive moves, really big moves down and really big moves up. But for me, I really enjoy when price is going sideways because it actually makes the way that you trade a lot easier to define. So it all starts with like doing your original technical analysis, and you can be using tools such as like your Fibonacci tools, Elliott waves, your speed fans, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, you want to just be able to. I think you can go really deep with technical analysis and make it pretty confusing, but you can also keep it really simple. So I've got
Right.
a few lines already drew here on the chart, but you can see that really simply they are defined from here we had an area of resistance, here we have an area of support, and we could say this is our key support and this is our key resistance. We also have this midpoint, which I'll move for this video, but and I might as well just remove this. So really, we can just see we have an area of resistance and an area of support,
All
and
right.
this is on the hourly chart at the moment. And so my strategies are really it's really simple really. When we reach the top of a sideways range, we are looking for short positions, and when it comes to the low of the range, we're looking for longs. And so you would generally then not get involved around the middle of the range here, and you just have to be patient waiting for the rise where you would look for your shorts. Stop loss you can generally put above the high, or wait for something like this. For example, we see a move up here, we see maybe like a swing failure pattern come back into the range, and then this is where you would look for your short positions. Stop obviously above the last high, aim down to the lower the range. And
Mm.
what we say is just like trade the range until it breaks. So eventually this range will break with a break to let's say $70,000 or a proper break of the lower the range, and we get to $50,000. But the worst thing that you can do, in my opinion anyway, in like trading is anticipate thinking that this is going to break out. Um, as you can see here, this is now over 1 week of price action, and over the past week we literally have just been going from the high to the low, for the high to the low. Obviously we did have a bit of a deviation here, which if you're longing the lower range here, did result in a loss. So this is a losing trade. But then when you reclaim back into the range, you get back into your longs. And as you can see, we have actually been trading this during the whole competition, and it ended well very well. And so the one loss here that you have taken, obviously you're off the back of 4 wins. You take a loss, and the loss is obviously very small in comparison to trading the whole of the range. So if you're taking a 2% loss here, but then each of the winners is moving on to 6, 10%. Um, it's just the old good old saying of keep your losses small, your winners big, and you really can make it very simple. Obviously, there's things that you can go a little bit more in depth in this, and this is where you can start to look at things like order flow, like how many people are actually buying and how many people are selling, and this offers like an extra layer of complexity. But at the end of the day, I do think that you can keep things pretty simple as long as you're able to in trading, it really is like it's so much based on emotions. And at the
Right.
end of the day, price goes up, down, or sideways. And nobody knows where price is going. Like, nobody in the world will know where price is going next, apart from
Yeah.
the market makers, I suppose. But like for me and you, we have no idea. So you
Yeah.
just have to find like a strategy that you know yourself, you know where you're right, you know where you're wrong, and you feel you've got a high probability. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, we rejected the top of the range here, and we could say there was a good probability that it was going to fall down because you're at the top of the range. At the end of the day, it could have broke up here, and then that would have
Hmm.
been a losing trade. But I think like the most important thing for people to acknowledge is just that trading really is just a game of probabilities, and you just want to take what you feel is the high probability trades. And if you lose the
Right.
trades, it really shouldn't be like this massively, really a lot of people take a loss and they get really depressed. They get sleepless nights, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I also used to get that, so I also used to get really depressed and when I lose and stuff like this. But it's just, I think you just have to change your perspective of the market, and that is every trade is a random result. Like, nobody knows the outcome of the trade. So if you enter your trades with the mindset of acknowledging the result is random, then you're not going to have this preconceived conception that this is going to be a winning trade. And when you acknowledge that the trade can have high probabilities, but it can always lose, I think then you start to change your mindset. And then when you change your mindset, naturally, I honestly feel that you will start winning more trades just from having the mindset in the correct, just by having the correct mindset, by actually following your technical analysis. And
Hmm.
really just trading the probabilities. And for me, yeah, and a lot of other people in the competition, we were pretty much trading this range. This is how we ended third place, to be honest.
Right. So, is this always how you've traded, or did you sort of progress into this more simplified, streamlined style?
Yeah, so yeah, my trading definitely has changed a lot over the years. So I used to trade a lot with like RSI and MACD and a lot of like the indicators that you just learn about when you first pick up a trading book, and everyone talks about like MACD and stuff. And so I used to use MACD and RSI, but I used to trade the stock market before I traded crypto, and I
Okay.
actually found it was pretty decent. I think the stock market is so simple, and also the stock market just goes up and up and up and up. So
So far.
yeah, basically, yeah. Since I've been trading, it's just been a massive bull market. Whereas I think
Right.
cryptocurrency, I'm personally more of a day trader in cryptocurrency. So,
Mhm.
whereas in the stock market, I'm a swing trader. And I think like RSI and MACD and these sort of tools, that they're good when you know what you're doing with them. But I don't ever use them in crypto. I don't really feel they're that effective for lower term time frame traders. So yeah, I definitely will say my trading has changed a lot, really, in terms of the tools that I use. And uh, I think like I know a lot of the tools in terms of all the different theories, and then it's just
Mhm.
going through the process of like learning the theories and then working out what works best for you. And I'd say
Right.
like what works best for me is a mixture of order flow, which is
Mhm.
I think it's a little bit complex, but it's not that hard, but it's not simple either. But order
Right.
flow is basically where you can just see how many people you actually see how many people are buying and actually see how many people are selling, and so you can start to see like if there's really big, because you always want to trade with the bigger player. You don't want to trade with like the small fish per se. You want to look into the charts to see how many people are actually buying and how many people are actually selling. And then order flow is like when you read the footprint chart. So you try and see the footprints of the bigger players. Where are your $1 million, or not really $1 million? That's, we're talking about like 100 millions. Like, where are they coming in? Where are they defending? And when
Hmm.
you can kind of get that heads up, of course, it doesn't give 100% win rate, but you can get really, really, really high win rates by doing your original technical analysis and like
Hmm.
making the plan of, okay, I'm going to short here and I'm going to long
Right.
here. And then you can get that extra step of confirmation of when you come up to the high, you can kind of
Hmm.
look into the orders of how many people actually want to short here. Like, are we getting a few million shorting, or are we starting to see like the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions defending this level? You start to
Right.
see like your divergences, and this is how you can start to get like a higher win rates. Um,
Hmm. So you'll adjust your level according to that.
for me, these levels are like now set in stone per se. Like I won't be adjusting this one or this one, just because I've
Mhm.
had, for me, under this range, they've been really successful. But let's say like we break out of this range, and
Mhm.
we start to make a new range. Then like a tool that I would use, for example, is something pretty simple like a Fibonacci extension. So I might take this move and say, right, if we start to break out of this range, we have this first daily around 61k. But we could
Mhm.
say, in terms of a fib extension, we want one to one, we'd look for around $65,000. So if this, the way that we would say is we would look for shorts at the top of this range. But if we break out of this range and you
Mhm.
start to see like volume increasing, open interest increasing, like the bigger players are moving up the order, then I would say like a natural place to look for, or then expect where a new sideways range could be put in, would be around like your one-to-one extensions. These are
Right.
generally, because a lot of people that are longing here would take profits here. A lot of other traders would be shorting here. So it's an area that you could expect like a range to be put in, like just like what happens here. And then
Mhm.
that's where I would say is, for me anyway, I'd really love to trade another range rather than like trying to trade the breakout and trade from here to here. I would prefer to
Mhm.
trade once we start to get the range forming here, because likewise, I didn't actually trade any of this move up, which is about
Okay.
a move of 17%. And a lot of people are going to be like, wow, you missed a 17% move. But then the way that I would trade is all of this price action over the past week has
Mhm.
actually equaled more in terms of percentage. If you've been trading the lows to the highs, there's more money to be made here than there is just
Ah.
by buying and holding this section here. And I
Right.
also believe that a lot of people, if they have bought here, for example, it's very likely that they've been stopped out, because we took the lows here on this
Mhm.
section. And then when we spend so much time at the lows, it's very likely, and you can also see this in the open interest. Like this whole move down was on decreases of open interest, so a lot of people have been stopped out over the past week. So the people that just like buy and hold, or just
Mhm.
like try and trade the swing on this, it's
Mhm.
likely they've a lot of people have been stopped out, and that's like we can see that in the open interest. So by just like trading the range, for me anyway, I'm I make more money trading the ranges, and I also just find it more simple.
Right.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
So
it just is simple.
do you tend to sort of back off when it's doing a big fluctuation and you think it might be going to the next range? You sort of just wait it out?
Well, like for example, right now I hold a long position because of the
Mm.
fact that we're at the lower the range. So if we were to just, let's say, massively like break out here, I
Yeah.
would I would hold on to my long and not just try and short the top. What I will generally do is hold. I know on like Phemex you can do like sub accounts, which is really useful. So you can
Mhm.
hold a long here, and then on your sub account short here. And if you
Right.
blast through the top of the range, you get stopped out on the short and just continue to hold your long. So like the sub account feature is really helpful for this, because you can hold, a lot of people are like, oh, you have to be long or you have to be short. You can hold a long and a short at the same time. And
Right.
if it looks like this is going to be broken, then, close the short for a loss, hold on to the long. Um, that's a tactic that I love to do, is like hold two positions simultaneously. So for example, when we were shorting the top of the range here, I was looking for a long at the lower of the range. Obviously, this
Mhm.
long got stopped out, but I was simultaneously holding my short until we've reclaimed a range. And then it's for me saying, okay, let's close the short, go back into a long. So when we are reaching the highs and lows, I'll generally have two positions, long and a short at the same time, and then wait for the market to show me. Rather than like trying to predict per se, you kind of just
Right.
wait for the market to show its hand,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
which I don't think a lot of people do. Like I don't think many people take advantage of the sub accounts, but I think it's pretty helpful, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a really cool use for it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of people could learn from that, I think.
yeah, I definitely think so.
So is there was there any part, just to bring it to the competition a little bit, was
Yeah.
there any like interesting part of the competition, or did it sort of just like go just stick to your strategy and it sort of just kept in that sort of range and was
Yeah.
pretty smooth sailing?
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, during the whole competition, we were really quick to get into like sixth place, and then we during the whole thing we were ranging between sixth and third place. And I know third place was like where you got the increase in the bonuses, so we wanted to try and get top three.
Right.
Um, and then we got top three with like a few days to go. And for us though, it's like we're not really high leverage traders.
Mm.
So I personally would never use more than really times five leverage. But on a day to day, I use no leverage, and so
Right.
for the competition, obviously you have to, well, you kind of have to use quite a lot of leverage, which is not for everybody, I suppose, and a lot of our members also don't like the leverage. But
Right.
yeah, once we secured third, it was more just like just trade as normal. Because at the start,
Yeah.
people were highly leveraging to try and like just get up into the top 10, and then
Right.
when we done that, it was then just like we've got a decent PNL, which I think at the time was like 50%, and then we
Mm.
just kept going day to day with normal leverages, and yeah, ended. I think we ended with 109 average
Yeah.
PNL. So the average was like doubling their accounts, but yeah, it's really hard to well, yeah, it's like the people that want it are like they're literally amazing because yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to use
Right.
that much
Right.
leverage consistently.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the beginning, you sort of altered your normal strategy a little bit just because it was the competition. So you needed to like break out a little first, and then once you
Yeah,
were up there, you sort of went back to normal strategy, sort of playing it safe, maintaining your position.
yeah. Like I know quite a lot of us just done like an initial first really high leverage trade just to like increase the average P&L, like just trying to get a good P&L because it's pretty obvious to win or at least do good in the competition. You have to use high leverage. So we
Yeah.
kind of just thought let's increase our leverage for the first few days to get us in the top 10, and then lower the leverages back to normal and just trade as we always would.
Right. Yeah. Well, hey, it worked out.
Yeah, it worked in the end.
Yeah. All right. I know you don't have too much time right now, so I don't want to keep you too long. Is there anything else you would like to add or anything, or do you need to get going?
Um, yeah, I don't think there's really anything else. I suppose like for a final tip for everyone would just be, yeah, just really simply when you get involved in trading, like I know it's like counterproductive. Well, I think the most important thing in trading is to not get obsessed by the numbers and not get obsessed by how much you're winning and you're losing. Like you really want to focus on the process, and the process is doing technical analysis and then entering good trades. And if you're
Right.
like really focused on wanting to become a millionaire overnight, or you're so focused on winning, like I think it doesn't help you. And if you really just block out the money that you're doing and just focus on taking good trades, like the money just comes naturally, and you're not even thinking about it. And if you're just thinking about making good trades, the
Hmm.
making money part just happens on its own.
Right.
Whereas,
Yeah.
yeah, I think lots of new people they come in and they start trading away all their money and they don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So people
Yeah.
will
Just
have they literally have
YOLO
no
in.
idea. Yeah, like so over the past few months, we had so many new members, and they were just like, they've just lost all their money because they just
Right.
joined cryptocurrency. They started to trade and they lost everything, and it's just like
Yeah.
they had no idea what they're doing. So obviously they're going to lose every. It's just gambling. Like in my
Right. Right.
opinion,
Exactly.
that's totally gambling. And when you are trading, it's not a. I suppose it's a gamble per se, in that you are trading probabilities, but you are the casino
Right.
where you have the probabilities in your favor. So I
Yeah.
don't refer to that as gambling. I refer to that as, well, trading. Like we are the casino.
Trading.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I have if you have like one more minute, do you
yeah,
have
yeah.
like
Go
another
for it.
quick question? Okay, cool. So obviously the competition was Bitcoin, but I was just wondering, like, do you trade any other coins, altcoins, or anything more obscure?
Yeah, I mean, um, personally, I'm primarily focused on Bitcoin. I just love Bitcoin. But I know
Right.
like a lot of people in our group, they love altcoins, and they trade all these altcoins like Cardano and Dot and you name it. They find all these altcoins. But personally, I just trade Bitcoin. Um, I mean, I will trade altcoins. Like this week, I've been
Mhm.
trading a lot of Tezos.
Okay.
So if there's a really good opportunity, I will trade an altcoin, but it's generally like someone will alert me, hey, this looks really good.
Right.
Like I'm not
Yeah.
spending a lot of time researching the alts. I just spend all my time on Bitcoin. But if someone tells me there's a good opportunity, then I will put money on it. But
Right.
I'm not every day like doing my own research for the altcoins.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, so I guess it's more, you've already put the time into Bitcoin, so you kind of feel like you know it a bit better. And
Yeah,
then
for me, like that is like you learn the characteristics of these coins, and like every coin has its own characteristics and its
yeah,
personality per se. So
right.
I just like really kind of understand Bitcoin, and if I try and trade a altcoin that I've never heard of in my life, like I don't know the
Uh-huh.
characteristics of that coin, so I struggle. I'm not as good at trading a random alt as I am something that I've traded for a long time.
Yeah.
So I would generally let someone else just alert me to the opportunity, and then I'll say I'll like verify it with my own technical analysis.
Right.
But yeah, I just have a lot more fun trading Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like, cause
That's
I
an
also
interesting perspective.
a
It kind
lot
of
of people.
like
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just it's almost like if you spend enough time, you almost develop like a relationship with it. Like
Yeah,
you kind of
100%.
know it. Yeah.
100%. Because I used to trade altcoins back in like 2018 a lot, and like I would trade the same altcoins every day, and because they would always move in the same patterns, and
Uh,
really from like 2020 really onwards, and mainly this year, I just stopped trading the alts and just focused on Bitcoin because for me it was just really time consuming to do all the alts, and
yeah.
I just didn't have the time to do it. But yeah, I also think there's like a misconception between a lot of people where they think I need to trade altcoins because Bitcoin's too much money, and I could buy one Bitcoin or I could buy 5 million of this random altcoin, and I'd prefer to hold five. And it's just like it's just not the way that you should view it. Like you can make the same
Right.
amount of money on Bitcoin as you can these altcoins. It's
Yeah,
just
it's a bit arbitrary, right? Because it's not
yeah.
like you actually have to trade one Bitcoin at a time.
Exactly. You can just trade like the fraction of the Bitcoin. You can
Yeah.
leverage. The argument that people say of, oh, I need to trade this other thing because I've missed Bitcoin. It's just the argument is just invalid in my opinion. Like
Right.
you can
Yeah.
make so much money on Bitcoin alone, even
Yeah.
with smaller amounts of money. It's just yeah. But
All right.
that's an argument I hear a lot from people of, oh, I don't have the money
For
to trade
sure.
Bitcoin. It's like you don't need a lot of
Yeah.
money to trade it.
Like you don't actually have to buy a one Bitcoin.
Exactly. Yeah, you can trade with like 0.0001.
Yeah. All right. Hey, this has been really cool, actually. I thought it was quite informative watching the chart and hearing about your
Yeah.
strategy.
Like this is one thing that we could see here. Like you have a potential like swing failure pattern that's happening like right now, and this is like when you take a high, you take this like by $1 here, and then you're coming back down. That these are a lot of things. I mean, I could talk literally for hours and hours and hours about Bitcoin.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we can do it again later. I'd definitely be
Yeah,
up for it.
yeah, I would be up for it as well. It's yes, it's fun, and obviously, yeah, I love your exchange, and
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
it's yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, same here. Really cool talking to you.
I would just like to wrap up the video with a summary of how that trade ended, like we were talking about inside of the interview. We were obviously long from our weekly level of support. In the end, we were making our way up and consolidating in this region of the chart. We knew our key levels above us, where one would look for short positions. In the end, we actually went very quickly and powerfully through the top key level, topping out at our daily resistance. At this point, I knew we were at our daily resistance, and I knew this was the place where I looked for shorts. Personally, closed the long from weekly, And I got into this short position based off of the fact that we had come up to our daily level, which we were ready and waiting for with our plan. And then after seeing the rejection, we were coming down, forming some bearish divergences with a retest of the daily. If you're a subscriber of our YouTube channel, you would know right live in the time as it was happening, I was making that YouTube video saying we are at our last level of resistance on that daily level. And obviously I was talking through the exact trade I was taking, which was my short trade. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see now together, that short trade that was taken up at the daily, giving you the important update as it was happening, we got that lovely move to the downside. Really, really great move to the downside. And obviously, where did we bottom out at? It was off of our middle key level. So when we add back on those key levels, look at this. We come straight down to 58,400 to almost the dollar to get another really powerful bounce to the upside, and now consolidating right on our higher key level of 59,000, about $700. Wanted to add on this summary to really show you the power of technical analysis. You can see these levels we had in advance, and then the respect that they are getting. You know, it's very accurate. And I want to just emphasize, we do our technical analysis to get the levels. Once we have the levels, we make our trading plan, and then we execute. We take the trades, and as you can see here, we've made a lot of money from really just following the plan and having faith in the technical analysis. Hope that you've enjoyed this interview. Hope that you've enjoyed the video. You've learned a little bit and, really have seen the power and money-making machine that is top technical analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you've enjoyed. Thank you ever so much and have a brilliant day. Thank you ever so much. Bye.
All right, hope you enjoyed that chat with Daniel from Chart Champions. If you want to hear more from him, learn a little bit more about trading, you can find him on YouTube on channel Chart Champions, and they also have a website, chartchampions.com. So, hope you enjoyed that interview. See you next time.